Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another episode of The Thinking Scrubs. I'm your host, Republic Ron. Hello. And together with my co host, Rebel Raymond,
Hi everyone.
and Imperial Ian.
Hi guys.
Joining us as a Force Ghost is none other than Resistance Ramon. Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Force Ghost. Anyway, we have an exciting episode for you today, and we're going to discuss our new segment entitled
Boom.
Not the Middle Squads, not the Bottom Squads, but the Top Squads. Top Squad.
Top squad. Oh, sounds like Top Gun.
Yeah, only with squad. Or
Yeah, sounds
Guns,
we need more than one gun.
unfortunately, we don't have our resident definer of words, Ramon. So we're going to ask our back assistant definer, Ian.
Back
Ian.
assistant definer. That's me.
Assistant definer of terms. Yes. What are or what is the top squads segment?
Okay, so this is a new segment here in the Thinking Scrubs, wherein we will discuss the top squads, obviously, of the recent tournaments or cons that happened during the past week, or basically which is the latest. So that's it.
Good job, Jen.
Good
I
job,
tried.
Ian. Good job.
Okay,
You-
so for
Need an assistant definer of terms. Ramon will be proud. Raymond, you were saying something?
okay, so Ron, but we haven't had a tourney here in the Philippines since. Which tourney are we gonna talk about?
Well, luckily for us, there's a tournament abroad. And what
Oh.
tournament is that, Ian?
Um, the Gen Con.
Trap na po.
So the Gen,
Gen
tournament.
Con. Wow. What is
So-
Gen Con?
Gen Con is the biggest board game convention in the world, and it happens every year in Indiana. And this year, Gen Con was host to the X-Wing North American Championships.
Yay! And we get to see their lists.
Yes. So this was a 2 to 3 day event over the weekend in Gen Con. All the big names in X-Wing came out. I don't
With some
know.
spoilers for the next waves, I think.
Yes, a lot of news came out.
And the first time we see on the table the new waves, no, the Republic ships,
Mm-hmm.
the Rebel, no, Resistance transport. So it's a big event, and
And
How
over
big is the-
200
how
participants.
big?
Over
oh, wow,
over
200
200 participants played X-Wing this weekend.
Wow. Don't you just wish that you were there?
We wish. We
We wish.
we
Maybe
wish
in
we'll
the
be there
future.
someday. Yeah.
We can only hope someday, no, someday.
Someday.
But we're not going to talk about Gen Con. We're going to talk about not all the squads, not the top 14, like everyone else is doing. We're only going to talk about the final two squads.
top
That's why
squad.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're the top squads. But
But
spoiler
before
alert,
moving that, we
before-
should give a shout out. I mean, everyone should know who won already by now, right?
Yeah.
of course. So no more spoilers alert. Yet. So congratulations to Paring Carson. So Carson is Carson Ray is our neighbor X-Wing podcaster. So congratulations to him. Finally he won, huh? So after what advice did you give him, Raymond?
I don't know him.
Is that his kidney stones he's holding, or what is that?
I think
That's
that's a giant X-wing die.
holocron.
Oh, it's a holocron.
Oh no, no,
So
no! It's a giant X. Is it a giant X-wing die?
It looks like a giant X-wing die. You know?
I thought it was a holocron for a moment.
but it's not an eight-sided die, is it? One,
It
two, three,
is.
four.
I guess
One.
we'll have to win a championships to know.
It's only a four-sided die, so it's a holocron. It's not a regular X-wing die.
A holocron is eight-sided too.
Is it?
Yes.
Well, holocrons come in many forms, so
So is that the basis of the design of the X-wing dice? It's supposed to be holocrons.
Huh.
Ah,
Interesting. Food for
ah,
thought. Food for
ah.
thought.
All right. Okay, maybe
For
we'll talk
next
about
time.
that for next time. But
So
anyway,
before we
congratulations
dive
again.
in, yep, congratulations, Carson.
And
And
before we
before
go
we dive
dive,
into the top squad, let's just review
what
the
happened
top
during that
14.
Gen Con?
Yeah,
No?
the top
So because
14
we're
that,
not
that
just
made the list.
are we? Okay,
No,
let's just
just
review some stats.
yeah, just review some stats. You know, I'm a data nerd, so I love these stats stuff.
yes, yes,
Ah,
stats are good.
okay.
So for our top 14, we can see that it's actually quite varied, and the top um, faction was only by 22% of the entire
Mhm.
total top 14. So Republic and Resistance leading uh, those numbers. But overall, although I am kind of sad to see as a Rebel player that the Rebels really
Dropped. Yeah, they
dropped.
really
Yeah,
dropped.
we don't see any we only saw one Rebel list make it into the top 14.
Raymond,
And
as a Rebel player, what do you think is the reason the Rebels dropped that far?
I think it's just they just momentarily lost their shine because of the points update. But you know, we'll come back stronger than before in the next one.
And in contrast, I think the general thinking is that the Galactic Empire is the strongest faction, but yet they're only third in the top
Mhm.
14. No?
Yep.
So what do you say about that, Ian?
I think there's excitement and the new ships caused by the Galactic Republic. So
And the
instead,
Resistance, they both
And the
had
Resistance.
yeah, they
they
had new ships. So as much as possible, we'd like to try them out and put them on the table. And we tend to optimize those more. That since we tend to like them more also.
Yeah. And looking at the distribution of the faction, no? In general, we're miles away from the metas of old. We're only one or
Yes.
two squads dominate a
Mhm.
tournament. No?
So we're
well,
really seeing varied lists here. We're expecting different ship counts, different ships and pilots, and a combination of different upgrades also. So it's healthy for FFG to have that also, and for the player base also to enjoy the types of ships they want to fly.
Yeah. And in terms of squad numbers or numbers of ships in a squad, what are we looking at, Raymond?
so we can see that the golden number is still at around 3 to 4. Most of the top 4 lists are also there. And we see some people try to fly swarms
Mhm.
with to some success, but I think the golden number is still around 4 or 3.
Well, it doesn't mean that the swarm is technically bad. It just means that out of the 200 players, somehow a swarm still has some strength to it, which shows good balance to the game itself.
Do you think it has something to do with the fatigue? I mean,
Yes, yes. How many rounds do they have again?
7 rounds at least
Seven
in one
rounds.
day.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's very intense actually.
So that would take a toll on your physical and mental capabilities. No? And flying,
Especially when you have to fly X-wing with great accuracy.
yeah. So, but does that mean that the two guys who flew only two ships in their squad had it easy?
Not necessarily. I think they also have the other end of the spectrum where uh, when you fly a swarm, you have to be careful and to consider the general direction. Whereas with the two ships, you have to be very specific and to have forward thinking on where you'll have to land your ships or take actions that will cater to fine adjustments.
But more often than not, two ship builds are relatively unheard of, no, nowadays. So those two guys really had balls flying two ship builds in a tournament. Two balls to be exact.
Yes.
Okay, so
They flew
moving on.
decimators. Decimate. I think
Ah,
that
yeah.
was a
So
decimator, right?
one of the list was a fat Han build with a wedge, and
Ah.
then the other one was a decimator with a TIE Phantom.
Mm, okay.
Interesting.
So decimator's coming back. You heard
So
it here first.
because they recently got a price decrease, no points
Mhm.
decrease.
Yes.
So looks like they're competitive.
Okay.
Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, so moving on to the ship build count, we saw that since the newest ship entry to the ships, the Naboo N1 Starfighter, is favored among the Republic
This is
players.
what I'm talking about the excitement for the newly released stuff. So you can see the Starfighter and the relatively new Aether Sprite there also.
And the relatively new transport pod as well.
Oh
Well,
yes, I
actually,
forgot. I forgot. Yes,
that's not relatively. That's actually
that's
really
actually
new.
the
So yeah,
So there were three Republic squads in the top 14, and meaning all three of them flew N1 starfighters.
yes,
yes.
Mm. So there was the eventual champ. There was Rick Olay. And were they all Rick Olays?
yes, they were all Rick Olay also.
I think one of them is Rick Oli. But that's what I found out. Di ba? Previous episodes, oh, Rick Ole, Ole, Ole.
Rico.
Apparently, Paul Heaver also uses Rick Ole. But there's some of the podcasts use Rick Oli.
Holy.
So I
Holy.
suppose it's up to us, no?
So we can use both.
Or
Oli,
neither.
Oli. Or neither.
Maybe what if Rick
Ole.
Rick
Ole.
to make it more Filipino, let's call it Rick Alae. But that's corny. Corny. Moving on.
Inside joke for the Pinoys. Pinoy
Yeah.
chan. Okay, moving on. So we have our first list, which is Matthew, second placer, Matthew Carey. He flew a Galactic Empire squad with one Grand Inquisitor,
Mhm.
and two Inquisitors, and one Lambda class shuttle.
Yes.
So now we
So
go to the top squads.
Yes,
Okay.
here's the meat of the conversation.
So I suppose we discuss both squads first, one at a time,
mhm.
no? And then maybe, well, of course we already know what happened, who won. So maybe let's talk about that. Why do we think this particular squad won the tournament? Okay, why is one squad better than the other? Or is it because of the squad, or is it just because how they played, or what have you? So let's dive in to this first squad.
Well, I am super shocked at seeing this squad in the first place
Yeah.
because I've never seen Thai Advanced V1s in the top spot ever.
And usually it's only Vader's Thai Advance, no?
And
So
soon
what's
tier,
oh well,
probably.
yeah, but Vader's Thai Advanced is X1.
Yes, correct.
Yes, that's
Ah,
right.
okay, and then V1 for the Inquisitor. What's
Mhm.
so special with the Thai Advanced V1s?
They have
They link
uh
to everything
yeah,
to a focus.
they have they have a link. But it causes a stress, I think.
Yeah, yeah. but they have a lot of blue turns as well. So I think their whole two segment is blue.
Mm-hmm. No, no,
So
just the forward, I think. Let me pull up my SB. I think it's because the difference of Thai Advance V1 and X1 is that Advance V1 has an evade action.
and
So
target locks.
They
and
both
target
have
lock,
target locks, yeah.
and also 3 agility.
Plus the Inquisitor, you get at least a pseudo focus with the force from the Inquisitor pilots.
So it's like you have a free calculate token. No?
Yes, that's correct.
But I think one thing that is that makes the Thai Advance V1 strong is the hard one, the blue hard ones.
Ah, yeah, you're right. It's the blues that their whole line across is blue.
Mm-hmm.
So they can focus and then link action, I mean boost or barrel roll, link action to focus, and then they can easily remove the stress token next round by doing a hard one or one
Mm-hmm.
bang.
Mm-hmm.
Or even they can run away with a three
Yeah,
blue string.
seeing all these the composition of the list, this is more of an alpha strike list, wherein early on you have to determine which ship you're gonna blow up and focus fire on that, and hope that you somehow get into range within range three of that because it's concussion missiles, right?
Yep.
Maybe he's anticipating more swarms like CIS swarm.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he used well okay, this is concussion missile. I'm thinking
Concussions,
about
not cluster missiles. Yeah.
I'm thinking about cluster missiles. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this is also strong against swarms because swarms normally don't have a lot of shields.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have to flip up their cards, then they're gonna expose.
Yeah.
A lot of them are gonna expose their damage cards.
instant
The
crit.
initiative tree actually helps when you face swarms and actually helps the blocking also of aces since um, you can link your I think you have a boost and a barrel roll with inquisitors, so you can use you'll have two chances of catching an ace off guard with the inquisitors. Plus, if you don't, you still have the grand inquisitor to follow that up.
And the Grand Inquisitor has sense.
Sense also, yeah. So most likely or more likely you'll be able to see and just reposition after even if they have fancy movement uh, or at least that's the plan.
So
So I
maybe because I'm thinking alpha strike, it might be hard for them to do an alpha strike because they're initiative 3. So maybe I think the strategy, I haven't watched any of his games by the way.
no, but
So maybe the
Colonel
strategy here
Jendon
is
is there
to
though.
ah
Colonel
what
Yeah,
Jendon,
Jendon, you get to lock early on, at least turn one. You can lock immediately.
Colonel Jandon. What does Colonel Jandon do?
It allows you to obtain locks beyond range three.
Ah, okay. So they can lock and then they'll just
Yes.
rely on their force for the
Yes.
modifications.
And they can also evade on that turn, so they can evade, force, lock you down. So this is it's a strong combination actually. You just have to pull off and make sure that Jendon doesn't blow up that fast, or at least you get to use Jendon's ability early on.
yeah,
And I
but
think,
turn one you can use his ability already,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
end game also you have Grand Inquisitor as a ace, quote unquote ace. Is at least initiative 5, so we can still catch initiative 6 with him, since he has sense also.
So, if you've watched his games, how did he fly the squad? Did he fly the Inquisitors together with Colonel Jendon tagging along? Or,
Um, uh, did you watch this match, Ian?
Yeah, yeah. I think the repositioning of what's his name, the other guy was just good. I mean, it's not
Carson.
that he flew. Yeah, Carson. It's just
Mhm.
it's not that he flew badly. It's just X-wing is a game of bluff. You fly the Grand Inquisitor and with the Inquisitors together, and then the other player repositions just a little too close for the missiles to go off, so he wasn't able to fire immediately.
Mm. So the Aether sprites were able to come in close within
Hmm.
range one.
Yeah.
Okay. So did he fly the Inquisitors, the TIE advanced ships together in a squad with the Lambda class shuttle, or did
The
he
shuttle was just hanging back. Of course, it's a
hanging back?
support ship. Yeah.
So did he fly the Inquisitor in a flanking position or in a squadron along with the other TIE
So you
advance?
fly them together. They could verge on
Mm.
what was the name of the ship? Because they want to um, when you shoot the concussion missiles, you want it to continuously flip the damage. So if you cause damage with the first one, um, for example, you have two damage, you get to flip up the first one, and then since they have the same initiative or at least higher, you get to flip immediately the other one also. So the enemy is supposed to have several crits open.
Mm. So he has to fire on a ship, focus fire with the
Mhm.
concussion missiles
Yes,
on a ship.
for that to work also. Yeah.
But
Looking at
based
the TIE
on what I
advance, no?
saw,
Oh,
mm, but based on what I saw, I mean, basically, if you're going to engage with these ships, these three TIE Advance already will automatically have a lock already on one ship. Jendon will come in and maybe be a semi bait, and
Yeah.
then
Actually, that was the problem with the Aether sprites. If you lock on too early, they'll just fly it somewhere else, right? So, especially with the Aether sprites, uh, very high reposition ability. I think we can go to the list also, so we can see how it counters the locking of it. Mm.
so we're here. We have the champs list. Carson Ray flying a Republic squad of 198 points, containing Rick. What's his name?
ala eh.
Like,
Rick, what's his face? With Predator, R2 Astromech, Obi-Wan Kenobi with calibrated Sense and R2A6, and then Anakin Skywalker with Delta 7B and R2 Astromech.
So, what surprised me with this list is number one, calibrated laser targeting.
yeah.
So,
There's just
You
no
don't
way
like
around
that
that
card. You don't
anymore.
like that upgrade.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not used to using that except on Luminara Unduli because I don't have any points anymore for a Delta 7B. So, which probably is his issue because recently Anakin and the Delta 7 went up in price, right? So that's why he's
Mhm.
forced to use calibrated laser targeting for Obi-Wan. So
Yep.
that one and R2A6 on Obi-Wan. R2A6 is the astromech that lets you change your dial, right?
Not necessarily. It lets you change your speed to one
Ah,
higher or one lower.
okay. But
It's the old
you
card.
you
What's
use the
that?
same
Wow.
berry.
Yes.
So I suppose it's to aid Obi-Wan into ensuring that he has a bullseye arc on the enemy, probably.
Mhm.
Yes. Or in case for he knows he's gonna get shot, so he can just move out of the way or change speeds and such.
Mm.
Interesting. It actually wouldn't this R2A6 give either sprites a one forward if you punched in a two forward and said, "Oh, I need to slow down a bit." You surprise your enemy. I'm gonna go one forward instead.
Yeah, but there's a catch on that. It's
Yeah, I think it should be on your dial.
Is it? Does it say on your dial?
I don't know. Like for example, same bearing, right? But only at one speed higher or lower. Bearing includes if you're going to make a sloop, the sloop is a bearing. No? So you can The Aether Sprites have a 2 sloop, right? But he can't do a 1 sloop because there's no 1 sloop bearing in
Yeah.
his dial. So I suppose it works the
Oh,
same.
so it just moves up then to three
Mm-hmm.
forward in case. So
Yeah.
so in that case, you should like go for three and then up to go for
Lower.
a lower
Two.
or higher.
So I suppose he use it usually on the hard ones
Mhm.
or the
I think this actually
one
came
bank,
very
two bank.
useful when they think about the rule of 11, I think. Especially when you joust the Imperial list early on. So the ordnance, the concussion missile has a range 2 to 3 only. So if you want to get into range 1 and also out of arc, you can very much utilize R2A6 for Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
With
it
But
that.
you
kind of
would
makes
think
me
that
wonder why we didn't see him. Didn't see much of R2A6 before. He seems pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a meta call
well,
for the
in building with R2A6, my thinking was if I'm going to use it, I'm going to use it on a high initiative pilot like Anakin or yeah, on Anakin. So I was surprised. Obi-Wan. So I suppose it's to enable his calibrated laser targeting. That's what I think.
True, but Anakin always. I think he just can't go without regen. Because with
Oh,
two
because
dice, he is
yeah,
gonna get hits in, and without any kind of regen, he's just gonna melt
yeah.
with
eventually.
with the
Let's not forget
total
Rick Oli here. He also has the which makes the new rule. You're supposed to leave your dials on the table because you have to compare. I think the maneuver speed, and if it's higher, you get to roll an additional attack die
or a defense die.
or a defense die. Yeah.
So 3 health only. No. So I
Yep.
agree.
Two.
2 shields. So Rick Olay or Rick Oli. So potentially he can have a 3 defense, assuming he moves fast. So he can have 3 defense with full throttle. He'll have an evade token and possibly also a focus or target lock token.
Yeah, with the Art to Astromech also, he doesn't care if he goes fast. He'll just probably fly away first and then just come back, regen, and then dive into the list again. Dive on the opponents again.
Again, Rick Olay, another candidate for R2A6, right? Because for Rick Olay's ability to work, his dial must be higher than his target or the ship attacking him.
Yeah, but with the actually that negates the blues of the Inquisitor, since if you want to move slowly, if you want to slow roll on the Inquisitor ships, Rick Oldie can capitalize on that. So if you want to move slow, I'll just take advantage of it and get myself an extra die.
But going back to Anakin, so yeah, I think the R2 Astromech should be stapled on Anakin because at only 6 health and 2 agility,
Mm-hmm.
no? If he gets unlucky, you'll be donating 44 points.
Quickly, yes. So you just want to make it very annoying for your enemy. Like you want to focus fire on him since he already has uh, defense dice. He has already evade dice, and then assuming you get those points early on, he can deny you those points also by flying away and just
Yeah,
regenning with R2.
regenning. You're spilling the secrets of the Republic, huh?
I've played with the
Still a
Republic.
secret.
Oh well, it's no secret anymore. So okay, we talked in our previous we talked about archetypes. So this one obviously it's an ace. What do you call that archetype? Ace squad, ace whatever,
Aces, I guess.
Aces, yeah.
aces.
Just
No?
aces.
Republic
So
Ace.
for this squad, you each ship can fly separately or together. I suppose. I wonder if he was able to use Obi-Wan's ability. So Obi-Wan's ability is if a ship within range 0 to 2 of Obi-Wan Obi-Wan uses a focus or spends a focus. So
I think it triggered
yeah, Obi-Wan can
twice
pay one force to give that
to
ship
give the
another
extra
focus
focus.
Yeah, but I think the best candidate for that ability is still just Obi-Wan himself.
for
Yeah.
Yeah,
himself, no?
because he's uncalibrated, so he has less
Three
health now, but
and
more
three
defense guy.
agility. Yeah,
Yeah.
more defense. And
Overall, a
then
very strong list, and I think it really deserves the top spot, the top squad award
so
for the for
so but without knowing the actual result, no? If you compare the two, well,
I
the advantage of this squad is number one, higher PS or
Mhm.
initiative,
I think
more
the
free mods.
I think Carson Ray's list still has an advantage just because of the initiative, just by looking at the initiative.
and the default abilities of
Yeah,
all pilots are just too good.
yeah, yeah. You just can't catch high initiative pilots with missiles, especially Aether Sprites, since they have a lot of repositions. And of course, Rick Oli himself gets to fly fast also. So if he really wants to dodge sparks, he can just fly and gain an evade token in the process also.
So yeah, uh,
And the strength of the other squad, I suppose, is the maneuverability, no? Because we highlighted the blue heart ones. So, but versus this squad, the Aether Sprites themselves are also maneuverable. You also have a heart one, so I suppose it evens out the advantage of the other squad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in terms of maneuverability, they're both equal. But in terms of initiative or arc dodging, so Carson's squad has the upper
Has the
hand,
advantage,
has the
yes. Has the high
advantage.
ground. Has the high ground.
Ability wise of the pilots, again, obvious as it, no? With Anakin and Obi-Wan and Rick.
Yes, yes, I think so.
so yes, but even though um, the Imperials Matthew did give Carson a good run for his money, though it was a pretty good match overall. Still, it at first it could have gone either way. It boils down also to their skills as pilots,
Yes.
and at the end of the day, Carson may have won, but I think they're both winners in this case because Matthew brought a very, very what do you call this, unorthodox list, and
Mm-hmm.
was able to reach top two with it.
I really like the composition and how they build their lists, especially when they try to think out of the box. They don't net deck, they don't just try something out. They test their lists and see the playing field, and it really pays out with them ending up as the top squads of the Gen Con tournament.
Yep. Ron, your thoughts?
Good lists, yeah.
Ron?
Oh, I don't think he's around anymore. He's experiencing his lag.
I'm on mute. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm on mute. I'm
You were
on
talking all
mute
the
all
time.
the time. I was talking. I didn't know I was on mute. Anyway, where
Okay,
were we?
I
Okay.
was just
Your
saying.
final
Okay.
thoughts
Well,
on the
Yeah,
lists?
final thought.
I was about to say. Okay, so Carson Ray, it's always nice to fly something new and win with it. Talking about Rick Olay. But there's also something special with flying something that is under the radar. Only you know. Nobody thinks it would succeed. And yet,
Yeah,
you took it to the finals. And I'm talking
yeah,
about the other squad, the Imperial squad. Can you show it again?
yeah.
The Thai Advance, no?
Yes.
So, wow. So,
I think
you're right.
both of the lists really highlight the beauty of X-wing. like
It's
that
like
you get to explore list building, and you get to explore also the mechanics of playing it like poker.
speaking of
Okay.
speaking of poker, yeah, I suppose there were a lot of bluffing, because both squads are very good at repositioning.
And they both have sense.
They both have sense. My
Yes.
squad seldom uses sense, so I only use nonsense squad. So
All right.
Although I'm not sure if Sense has a point. I mean, in this in this list at least, it's
Right.
effective for Matthew, but I don't think if Carson made use of it much, because he would be
Yeah, they'll
moving.
just
Uh,
reposition. Yeah.
but during mid or late game, even when your ships are close together, no knife fighting. Sense is free essentially at range one, right? So
Yes.
might as well use them. And more squads have been using sense lately. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll dive into that rabbit hole on another day,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay.
So to Matthew, he flew what he liked, what he knew, and reached the finals. So there's nothing more sad about that. Well, maybe except for actually winning the whole thing. So
So close and yet so far.
so close and yet so far. So good job to both. But we're talking about top squads here. So top squads, y-
Top squads.
you agree? Both
Yes, I
deserve
highly
the
agree.
title of
Yes.
top squad.
Very
Or,
Definitely top squad.
they're
or
well deserved and noteworthy lists.
So I hope someday we'll have one of the local lists featured in the top squads.
Yes, probably something as iconic as the Hatchet Man list. Probably, maybe we'll have our own definition of that, or a variation of it on some other faction. Who knows?
Yep.
Did Matthew name his squad or even Carson?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We'll have to wait for List Fortress to name them or to come out there.
If you're going to name this squad, what would you name it?
The Imperial one?
Yeah.
It's obviously
Um,
the Inquisitorium. I mean, there's a lot of Inquisitors there. Or you can probably come up with something more creative.
yeah.
Like since their strength is the blue hard one, maybe the hard ones or the blue hard ones. I don't know.
I'll probably name it Migraine
Migraine because it will give you migraine.
because of all the
That's
Or
a good one.
concussions.
You
or
can
Because of all
put
the
that in List
concussions.
Fortress right now. Suggest it. You can actually put that in.
or I have the Inquisition. Because there are three Inquisitors.
Oh.
Right, right. It's good
Yeah,
also.
yeah. That's
How about the other one? How about the
The
other
other one, let's look at the other one.
That's
Republic
that's a
Ace.
Jedi with the top ace pilot of the Naboo.
Republic Nerds.
Uh,
The
2D7N1. Ah, yan. 2D7N1.
That's just this is pod racing, basically. No, this is pod racing.
now this is pod racing.
Yeah. That's just like a generic name.
Everyone who's listening, who's you can feel free to add these archetype names to the list for just tell them it got it from us.
The thinking scrubs. That's what we do. Name squads.
Archetype names, yeah.
And yet we came up with a sucky name for our podcast. So there's that. Anyway, that's it for our episode tonight and slash today. In case you're listening from across the pond. So it was fun. Our first
Thank you for
ever
listening. Yes.
Top Squad episode. Do you think we should do more of this?
Hit like and subscribe.
All right. That's it for us. I'm Ron,
I'm
This is
Raymond.
Ian, and we are
the
the
Thinking
Thinking
Scrub.
Scrub.